In the murky dimness of a rain-slicked office in Trenton, New Jersey, John Crowley, a private investigator no longer youthful, sat brooding over a glass of bourbon. The room, bathed in a melancholic sepia, smelled of damp paper and old leather, of past memories and faded dreams. His weathered face, a canvas of countless stories, bore a hint of sorrow, a remnant of his childhood trauma of having been lost, the searing fear of which had never left him. A sudden rap on his door jerked him back to reality. In strode a frail woman, a widow by her appearance. The pallor of her skin and the haunted look in her eyes spoke of desperate nights drowned in sorrow. She clutched an audio tape recorder, the grief etched into her face deepening as she extended it towards John. "My husband," her voice trembled. He was a sewer worker. He vanished one night, but left this recording." The widow's words hung heavy in the air, permeating the room with a palpable sense of despair. John, easing the recorder from her hands, felt an unanticipated shudder of intrigue. He was no stranger to tales of the bizarre, but the hint of an unknown life form was irresistible. It was not the strangeness that ensnared him. Rather, it was the possibility of saving someone from the harrowing experience of being lost. It was an echo of his past, a painful remnant that clawed at his memory, driving him into a sinister whirlpool. He inserted the audio tape in the mechanical whir, echoing in the oppressive silence. The voice that issued was that of a man on the brink of sanity, quivering with a terror so palpable that it snaked its way under his skin. His tale of the unknown life form, a creature lurking in the depths of Trenton's sprawling sewer network, transformed the room, no longer a bastion of mundanity, but a threshold to the uncanny. "I found something in the sewers," the voice trembled. "Something alive, not human, not animal, unknown." A shiver coursed down John's spine, the cryptic message wrapping itself around his interest. The promise of a hefty payout was alluring indeed, but what truly kindled his determination was the potential to rescue someone from a reality he knew all too well. His resolution set, he knew his path now led to the grim underbelly of Trenton, into the veiled shadows that would eventually taint his perception of reality forever. As the widow left his office, leaving behind the sorrow-drenched air, he found himself at the precipice of a journey, standing at the edge of the familiar, gazing into the abysmal unknown. With the echoes from the abyss still ringing in his ears, the stage was set for his descent into the creeping shadows of Trenton. As the ebony curtain of night descended over Trenton, a labyrinthine city of antiquated buildings and narrow alleyways, John Crowley found himself standing at the precipice of the city's underworld. The rain-slicked streets mirrored the obsidian sky, an eerie quietness seeping through the city like a creeping fog. In his worn trench coat and wide-brimmed hat, he ventured into the uncharted depths of the city's sewers. The air thickened with a damp, pungent stench, the oppressive darkness swallowing him whole. The labyrinth mirrored his past trauma, a relentless maze that seemed determined to lose him within its winding, cyclopean tunnels. Underground, he discovered a world apart, a realm teeming with an uncanny vitality, strange echoes rebounding off the brick-lined corridors, and shadows moving unsettlingly at the edges of his vision. The farther he delved, the stranger the city above seemed to become, its residents bearing a queer, hypnotic aura. He made his way through the grimy streets of Trenton, the city's familiar facade now seemingly warped. The locals, once warm and familiar, were veiled in a disturbing strangeness. Their smiles seemed tighter, their eyes distant, their conversations laden with odd pauses and peculiar words. Encountering a group of men, he sought answers. "Strange happenings of late, wouldn't you say?" John ventured, his eyes piercing through their unsettling facade. "Oh, we're just embracing the new light, Crowley," one man replied, his gaze fixated at some far-off point. "A glorious dawn awaits Trenton." Such cryptic conversations filled him with a sense of foreboding. He was no stranger to the eccentricities of urban life, but this veered into an unfamiliar territory that edged on the abyssal. He began to notice a peculiar symbol etched in numerous corners of the city, a pattern of intricate circles and otherworldly shapes. An insignia, he deduced, of a secret thread weaving its way through Trenton's tapestry. Haunted by the lurking shadows, he retreated into the solace of his office, the city's unearthly transformation echoing in his mind. With each passing moment, he could feel reality straining at its seams and hear the whispers of a world hidden beneath the veneer of the mundane. His resolve solidified further, knowing he stood as the city's unwitting guardian. He was left staring into the depths of the city's mysteries, a grim resolve taking hold of his heart. The city of Trenton, under the ensnaring darkness, was waiting to expose its true face, an echo of a cosmic horror lurking beneath the mundane. As twilight painted Trenton in hues of lavender and crimson, John Crowley found himself standing before an imposing, age-worn edifice, its silhouette haunting against the dying embers of the day. The peculiarity of the symbol he had been tracing, the complex tangle of circles and alien shapes, was etched menacingly upon the building's facade. A shiver of primal fear and riveting curiosity cascaded down his spine. He was standing at the precipice of revelation, the secrets of the city awaiting his discovery. Within the confining walls of the edifice, he navigated an endless maze of stone corridors, echoing with hushed whispers and unsettling chants. Each step took him deeper into the heart of the mystery, further challenging his grasp of reality. The corridor ended in a vast, cavernous room, a grotesque altar at its heart. Hooded figures hunched in prayer, their monotone chants filling the room with a palpable dread. A hooded figure, assuming the role of a high priest, stood before the congregation, his voice echoing, "The new dawn is upon us. We shall ascend. We shall be liberated." The cult, it seemed, was driven by a shared delusion of transcendence, their devotion to an otherworldly entity clouding their sanity. His rational mind grappled with the sight, the revelation teetering on the precipice of his comprehension. He saw a monstrous statue at the center, a depiction of their god perhaps, a leviathan of cosmic proportions. Its form twisted and turned in unnatural angles, an indescribable horror birthed in the heart of the cosmos. His eyes widened in realization. The unknown life form was but a distracting echo in this grand cosmic game. Overwhelmed by the horrific spectacle, he retreated to the shadowy refuge of the city streets, his mind wrestling with the grotesque revelation. The cosmos had unveiled a fraction of its horror, a glimpse of its limitless abyss. His thoughts turned to the brainwashed locals, mere pawns in this cosmic horror. A dire determination took hold of him. He had to act and disrupt the unnerving symphony of madness. In the cold embrace of the dawn, as Trenton awoke beneath a shroud of pallid light, John Crowley, laden with the weight of his harrowing discovery, devised his plan. He was a man on a mission, his will steeled against the looming cosmic horror, the echoes of his past trauma fueling his determination. A covert visit to the local police station, a meticulous gathering of information, and an ingenious plan to disrupt the cult's ritual. These tasks consumed his day. The financial reward that once seemed so alluring now paled in comparison to the urgency of his mission. His plan was a desperate gambit, hinging on the slimmest chances. But he was resolute, for he understood the stakes. Night fell, shrouding the city in a mantle of shadows. The time for action was nigh. With every step towards the ancient edifice, his heart pounded an erratic rhythm, a grim anthem for the impending confrontation. He infiltrated the building, melting into the shadowy corridors, a ghost on the cusp of a cosmic battle. As the ritual commenced, a monstrous cacophony echoed within the cavernous room. The high priest invoked the name of the cosmic entity, the cult members swaying in a hypnotic rhythm, their collective fervor palpable. As the atmosphere rippled with the entity's impending semi-manifestation, John sprang into action. The disruption was a scene of controlled chaos, a ballet of anarchy. He sabotaged the main power supply, plunging the room into an abyssal darkness. Panic erupted amongst the cult members, their chants faltering, their ritual interrupted. The semi-manifestation of the entity was a grotesque spectacle. For an infinitesimal moment, reality itself seemed to buckle under the weight of the alien form. A glimpse of the horror was enough to shatter the cult members' delusion, a sobering dash of cold water against their fevered dreams of transcendence. His plan had worked. He escaped the chaos, a traumatized victor emerging from the lair of a cosmic horror. The cult, their grand plan disrupted, was left in disarray, their brainwashed followers reeling from the terror of their deity's true form. Trenton's locals, released from their hypnotic trance, woke to the harsh dawn of reality, their dreams of a glorious dawn reduced to nightmarish shards. In the bleak aftermath, John Crowley stood, a lone figure beneath the rising sun. The financial gain, once a primary motivation, had transformed into a bitter afterthought. He bore the scars of his ordeal, his soul forever marked by his encounter with the cosmic horror. He stood on the precipice of his old life, the echoes of his harrowing experience resonating within him, an unlikely survivor in a world teetering on the edge of the abyss. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, like it and subscribe to our channel, where you can find more similar stories, and click on the bell icon to never miss one. There is plenty more cosmic horror to come from the Eldritch Tales Factory. Stay tuned, and until next time.